We all know that the inlet rocks when it comes to great fishing and good times on the boat. Now the description of why this inlet is so great is now the new bait and tackle shop here to serve a rocking good time to all the fish heads and anglers out there. Ronald Stalvey brings his enthusiasm, excitement, and genuine care for the angler to the new store and is ready to serve all your fishing needs. If it's live bait, hand-tied rigs, the hottest in artificial baits, frozen baits, apparel, and much more, they have you covered. If you need anything that you don't see, just let Ronald know. Stop in and welcome them into town and get all the latest reports. Inlet Rocks Bait and Tackle opens daily at 5:30 a.m. and is located on 17 Business, just a quarter-mile south of the Murrells Inlet Landing. Good morning, fish heads. It's a Southern Anglers Radio Show. We're coming to you live via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota. We're the dealers always in.
And by Key West Boats and Marshall's Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day.
Every day.
Hey, Jenna, you can say it. And by the Freedom Boat Club. And by the Freedom, and by the Freedom Boat Club, where your boat is waiting, and we are here at the wonderful Pond Road Storage Studio. And as you can tell by the lack of voices on our end, it's the Bassmaster, myself, and Super Jenna right now. We do have another guest who is making their way to the Pond Road studio right now, and going to be joining us, and that is Don Nesmith. The Grand Strand Kayak Association, isn't that what they are? Isn't that what he made up? That night at 12:30. So Don's on the way. We're going to talk kayak fishing and talk a bunch of other stuff. He's been at Santee last weekend. He was down there.
Yep.
I've been talking with several guys at Santee and at Lake Watery because I've got to go film a TV show for Let's Fish TV, and my options are A, crappie at Santee, B, crappie at Watery, or C, striper on Watery. So I am trying to get some intel to make my trip a little less stressful. And it does seem to me that now the water is starting to clear up a little bit. Water's starting to clear up a little bit at Santee. And at Watery, the water level's starting to go down. So I'm going to be making my way in one of those directions in the coming weeks, very soon. Let's Fish TV on Bally's TV every Thursday and Sunday morning. Thursdays at 6 o'clock. Tony, is that right? 6?
Yes, sir.
Thursdays at 6, and I think it's at 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings. And we start back on March 13th. We'll be back 16th, 15th. Yeah, 13th. We'll be back on air for 39 weeks. And it's always an honor every year that I get re-invited or re-signed to come back on and host the Carolinas Report. And this year I'm going to be hosting 3 to 4 episodes of the show myself. And it's a blast. It's a great show. Fun, good times. Yep, Don's laughing at my chair. That's a throne. You're not eligible for that. You'll have to go sit in one of the others.
Yeah, I gave it up this morning.
Hey, listen, Don, you got to understand something. Every chair, every piece of furniture in here was found on the side of the road or at the dump.
I'm down.
Jenna,
I'm 100% down with it.
Jenna, did you know that? That I furnished.
I did not know that.
He did.
I furnished the studio via the dump or the side of the road. And this is the God's honest truth. And I'm telling, does anybody have any complaints about their chairs?
No. These are nice.
They are.
That is so
Don is sitting in.
Don't sit in this one.
Let me tell you real quick. So Don is sitting in a $700 Pier 1 Imports recliner. Yeah, exactly. Look, it's got some scratch, like a little bit of scratch on the top, but
Kill bad guys.
he's like
great chair.
He's over here. Yeah. Don is a gamer. He loves playing games, and Don's thinking about that. But these two chairs that Tony and I are in. A friend of mine was giving away on the side of the road. They're former office chairs, and as you can tell, the arms are good and worn out. But everything else is fine.
I like them.
They got them broke in just right.
Now, why did you pick on my cream chair?
Because if he gets in that one, he won't be able to get back out. I done sat in that one. That thing lays you back, man. I'll be fell asleep trying to do the radio show.
I saw that thing, and the bad thing is, so anybody that lives in Murrells Inlet, you know about the green shed. The Green Shed is at the Georgetown County Wesley Road Recycling Center.
The swap shop.
The swap shop, yep. So my kids, well, in particular Russ, loves the Green Shed. And it always seems that we may take 10 things there to get out the house and clear out the house, and we leave with 11.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Oh, I take stuff down there to drop off.
So Daddy has gotten just as bad as Russ. Now, of all the chairs in here, that throne over there is the only one that we paid for. That chair,
giant chair, dude.
That chair was bought for a dance routine that Kinsley is going to be doing next year. I mean, this is how those dance moms are, already preparing. Unfortunately, the chair is a little too big, but we've got this other plan with it. We want to cover it, recover it in bright pink, and we're going to rent it for birthday parties.
Crushed purple velvet.
Oh, that might be good too.
Crushed purple velvet.
Yeah, so we're going to rent it for birthday parties. Apparently, it's a big thing. If you Google right now, if you Google a throne for a birthday and look it up, it's unbelievable. People pay $140 and up for a chair like that for a birthday, to borrow it. I mean, to use it. But that chair is big enough for you and Tony both could sit.
Oh yeah, we can both sit.
It is quite humorous, and I need to put a picture up on our Facebook page of this. But
with the Bojangles biscuits,
with the Bojangles
is riding the throne right now.
Yeah.
But we are at the beautiful Pond Road. What do you think about the studio?
I love this, man.
We've done great, haven't we?
You have. This is set up nice.
The Key West 250 kind of adds to it.
And it does fit.
It does.
Side by side. I thought you had this stacked behind the boat. But
Now here's the good thing.
Awesome.
For you coming in as a guest, you get to go pick through and grab something off the
rack?
the wall over here. Yeah, you get to grab something. Now, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me clarify this.
Yeah, you better straighten that
You got to put stipulations out right now.
Yeah, so you get a choice of in the hats, the shirts, and in the tackle.
Okay.
You don't get to choose any of the Pelican boxes. Do y'all think I have a problem? Now, these are all empty, Tony.
Yeah.
Those are all empty.
No, that orange one I gave you, I don't want it back.
Oh, that's right. You did give me that one.
I got those out of my trailer because they sat in my trailer. So I had 2 or 3 of them with nothing in them for like 2 years. I drug them around.
Wait a minute. Did you give me the big one? Because I got another orange one.
Big orange one.
Yeah, that's it then.
Yep. No, I tried to get
Well, you can have that one if you
No, I
like
don't
it.
want it
Obviously. But, yes, we got 1, 2. Those are full of equipment.
I
1,
love
2,
this.
3, 4, 5. 5 Pelican boxes over here. None over there.
This is
Oh,
cool.
now you could wear some real diva clothes.
No.
You'd look good in it.
No.
Well, there's a lot going on, and this is that time of the year. And real quick, shout out to our other true co-anglers, co-hosts, co-anglers, whatever you want to call them. We got
Cohorts.
Yep, Captain Fred is enjoying a wonderful rainy week at Daytona for race week. He has been sending us some great pictures, and unfortunately, no race cars.
He got a good one last night. If he sat there for that truck race, man, that was a good one to watch.
I didn't.
He
watch
was
it.
excited. He said he loved that truck race. He texted us last night.
That was on fire last night.
He got to see a good one if he watched the duels. I can't remember that ending. The ending of duel number 2 sounded good.
I missed him.
Do they still call them the duels, or do they call them something else?
No, they're the
duels
at Daytona.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Captain Jason and Captain Chris are chillaxing in McClellanville. And if you can't chillax in McClellanville, you just can't relax. And they are down there. They're taking the boat to Seawee this week, today. They're going to go down to Charleston, and they're going to visit our other co-host, Tommy Buchanan, who is down working with DNR at Seawee. And if you've never been to Seawee, it is incredible. I suggest that everybody should go down and enjoy it at least one time. I don't know that it is a annual thing for some of us, but it is a great time. Incredible artwork. It's just true. The epitome of the outdoors. Everything and anything that you could imagine in the outdoors, they've got it down there, and most of it that I can't even afford. But beautiful artwork. My good buddy Chad Weatherford, Weatherford Knives, is down there. Most of it goes on at Brittlebank Park. Is that how? Yeah, Brittlebank Park or whatever the name of the park is down on the waterfront down there. It's beautiful. They have some of the best dock diving you can imagine for dogs. The dog dock diving. But it's an incredible festival down there. And then Captain Matt over at Walk'em Outfitters, the River Rat, has river tours. So he's shoving off at 10. So he offered to come over from 8 to 9. And I said, no, man, there's no reason to drive over. I think that we can do it. And then, of course, Tony texted and said Don the man was free this morning. So we figured we'd have Don over. Don's been to Santee 2 of the last 3 weekends.
Yeah.
4 weekends, 3 weekends. And he's got to witness what everybody is calling toilet water.
Oh, man.
I'll leave the other part out.
It's chocolate
It's
milk.
about the color of this table, ain't it?
No, it's darker than that, man. I mean, it's pure chocolate milk.
Well, let's talk about. I want to know why, and of course, here we are. We're the Southern English Radio Show. We're here on the Grand Strand, and why would we don't want to talk about Santee? Well, hey, a lot of people go fishing at Santee from here, but why has it been so long? I mean, we have not had a lot of rain.
The water's coming from somewhere. Let me tell you, without a spot lock or an anchor, you're not holding a position anywhere in that lower lake. Don't even try to go to the canal. That first weekend that I was down the canal.
Yeah, you said you couldn't get in there.
No, man, that was brutal.
Yeah, he about flipped.
You've got
my anchor caught, and it almost yanked me over. The current was pulling so strong, it almost flipped my yak over.
Now, some may call you a cheater because you do have a motor on your pontoon, but I call you smart.
Well, a lot of there's not.
I call you smart.
Out of all the clubs I belong to, pretty much all of them now across the boards are good with motors, except for one group.
Yep.
They don't want motors, but you can have your pedal drive that'll outrun my motor. But I'm cheating because I have a motor. I have an unfair advantage because just like we were talking in our club this week. Just because I have a motor, there is no advantage. Just because you may have a forward-facing sonar on your kayak, you don't have an advantage. I watched 2 guys with live scope in a kayak last week, didn't catch fish, not a one. Saw fish, were mad as they could be all day that they saw them, couldn't get a fish to bite. It's just the way it is, man.
We was no just sitting here talking about
there's no advantage in it.
People making it and money getting them there, but you've got to have the ability to use the equipment that you are
time on the water
blessed to have to be able to catch fish.
Time on the water. It backs down.
You know what?
And it's been 20 years since I've been on Santee, so I don't have the time on the water, and I expected the results that I've got. Now, for this next tournament, I'm going to pre-fish 2 different days down there where we're having our next date at and see if I can't get a little better game plan together. My big thing now, March 1st and 2nd, I'm on Murray. KBF's in town for their first big one of the year at Murray. I'm going to go do both days.
Quick question. When y'all do those tournaments, like on a big lake like Murray, trailer it, or you have to leave from the same launch?
No, you can launch at any point around that lake you want to.
Can you leave from a private home?
No. It has to be a dock accessible to everybody else in the tournament.
Okay. All right. I didn't know because, I mean, you got to be up there anyway. Find you a house that's near where the fish are and rent.
I thought that last year when I went up and rented one close that had a dock. And nope, you have to launch from an access point that everybody else in the tournament can have access to launch there.
Now, is that not the tournament where you flipped over?
Yeah. That's the tournament where I had my mystery leak last year and didn't know that I had a leak.
Yeah.
And didn't have the bilge pump in my yak at that point. And it filled with water. And I got real lucky, real lucky last year that I made it within 15 foot of the bank before I went upside down.
Well, and people don't understand. If you've ever bass fished in a boat, you know how hard it is. And I'll just say, I mean, the number one, I will say, and Tony has drilled this into my head early on, if you can learn to cast, you can figure out the catching fish. But when you take yourself and basically put yourself, not sitting in a chair because you're not. It's not like you're sitting on the deck of the boat.
Nope.
You're sitting in a kayak at water level.
Yeah, you're not elevated.
No. So there's no flipping. I mean, if you're in a kayak sitting, you're not flipping.
You got to stand to do your flipping and do your finesse casting. They're stand-up kayaks for that reason. Myself, with my knees, as much as I want to stand, ain't happening. That's why I bought the brand that I bought, because my seat goes from deck level up.
That's right, yours lifts
15 inches.
Yep.
It helps. And let me tell you, it's a whole different world from fishing in a boat or fishing in a bank, and you can cast your bait caster wherever you want to, however you want to, and it's butter. When you're sitting 12 inches off the water, you have to relearn everything, especially most of us don't wear PFD when we fish. These tournaments, it has to be on, has to be zipped, or you're DQ'd. When somebody catches you, they take a picture of you, you're DQ'd.
Yeah.
Learning to cast sitting at water level with a PFD on, that's a whole challenge in itself.
All you got to do, go outside, get your favorite bass fishing rod, and go sit your butt
on the ground.
And
cast.
Put your feet straight out in front of you and sit on the ground and see how accurate you can be at a 30-yard cast.
Yep. And the other thing,
get your feelings hurt.
The other thing that gets you is you're in a kayak, so you're thinking, hey, I can sneak up to the bank, and you can. Most of us forget, hey, there's limbs overhead, and there's the first lure in the tree.
Yep.
English don't know nothing about lures in the trees.
What are you talking about? I think at one point, I had decorated everywhere from Bucksport to Wakawachi.
Now, I will say, last week, I had some great information from the man sitting to my right here, Mr. Tony.
Yeah, you were in a good spot.
I was in a killer spot, and he was, when I got to talk to him when I come home, dumbfounded. That little clear pond that he put me in the back of should have been X number of feet deep, and I'm telling you, it was 18 inches deep at best. But it was absolutely crystal clear water. It was almost 60-degree water, where the rest of the lake was 52 and 53. Yeah. It jumped up, and I could see the fish. I just couldn't get nothing to strike.
My biggest bass at Santee I caught back there in that lake.
Yeah, and it's funny, when I cruised back into that pond.
He said he couldn't hardly get between the dock
and
the sand.
It was so low.
Where the dock, and you have to go by that little brown dock. Yeah. I had just enough for my kayak to slip through. If I would have had to step out, I couldn't have fished it, because you can't drag your kayak to a spot. You have to float.
So regular boats aren't going to get back there.
There ain't no way a boat can get in and out of there.
Wow.
Yep.
We're talking about a very popular little backwater pond.
Right there, but Angel's
Near
Landing.
Angel's Landing.
Yep,
it's
to the
not
right
like
of it.
It's a secret.
No, it's not. And what was funny, a house that I stayed in many times when I fished down there all the time, it was back on this little pond, and I finally remembered where I was, and it dawned on me, a man was coming out. I was like, does such and such have something to do with it? Yeah. And I was like, I thought this was the house I stayed in for years. And he had his boat, and he couldn't go nowhere. He was stuck there. He couldn't get out.
So I would have thought the water level was high. So apparently right now they're pulling a lot of water for electricity.
29,000 per second.
Wow.
Coming through the gates into Santee right now. Santee's at 12.9, which is flood at Jamestown. I mean.
So are they pulling at Cooper River too?
I don't think. They may be releasing a little bit down Cooper River, but as much as they pushing down Santee right now, I doubt they're flowing Cooper River.
Well, I saw where Tommy Scarborough went and scouted out shad this week with Dr. Rosenberg. No, not Dr. Rosenberg. Who went with him? Anyway, went down and scouted. I saw they had one picture of the same fish twice. I could tell. It was one holding it and one with it sitting in the floor of the boat. So they're not there yet. We talked about that. That's a trip, another trip that's easy to make from here. When the shad get thick in tail race and at Arrowhead, either one, but more so tail race. I enjoy tail race the best. It is a great trip that's worth it. It is to go down there, and if you want to see a bunch of grown men having fun catching bait fish.
And fighting pelicans.
I'm telling you, you better get ready, because you will have a pelican sitting in the boat with you.
So when I pulled out Sunday, I don't know if you saw the picture, there had to be a group of 200 to 300 white pelicans sitting right there, and they didn't move all day. I mean, it's the biggest group of pelicans I've seen since Hurricane Hugo. It blew my mind. I actually had.
So this is at the lake.
Yeah, I had to stop and take a picture, because I have not seen that many pelicans together in one spot.
Well, that lets you know that the gizzard shad
are starting to do their thing.
Are plentiful.
Yep.
And because that's what they're feeding on up there in them lakes.
So let's move back to the Grand Strand real quick. Let's talk about something before we go to break. First break, Sunday. So yesterday I stopped by the radio station and got to see Jimmy and Adam. They were just doing a little promo for the Collard Cook-Off. Tomorrow. Uncle Tito's. And a great time. 28 or 29 different teams cooking.
And
awesome.
And Bubba loves cooking for Tito's.
And Bubba Love, I told you, I texted him yesterday. I said it's rigged. Jimmy is now in charge of it. The former director and founder of the Collard Green Cook-Off stepped down a couple years ago, and so Jimmy and Stoney Canner are running it. They do a great job, and they seem to be ready to go. Adam will be MC tomorrow out there, but it is a great time. And, Tony, we were talking about it. I would think Bubba Love would have an advantage, but Tony and I saw what can happen at the Boiled Peanut World Championship.
Good Lord.
What people can do to a boiled peanut, what people can do to a collard is crazy. And so
I never thought I'd see the day that boiled peanuts had more vegetables in it than peanuts. But I seen what looked like
oh man, we saw one
all
pot
salads.
Yeah, we got cheated. By the way, we got cheated.
Yeah,
They didn't tell us. So
no. Wait a minute.
Hang on.
We misread the rules.
We misread the rules,
and they didn't feel obligated to tell us we could pre-cook our peanuts.
Well, there was two different things that cost us. But no. There was two things that cost us. First was that.
Yep.
And the second was we were cooking together. Like it was Southern Anglers Radio Show peanuts. Like but we did two different styles.
Regular salted.
And then my craziness.
And then whatever was put in here.
So we were, without a doubt, and even everybody there said it, we were the busiest. We had more people lined up for our peanuts. We were like I've never had to cook all. I mean, we went back for 2 bushels, didn't we?
We had to cook.
We had cooked off 2 bushels. We went back and got a bushel apiece and started cooking them
again.
And
y'all didn't win with 4 bushels of peanuts?
Here's what happened.
It's not that. See, a lot of people that showed up, they had already pre-cooked their peanuts. Well, it takes 3 hours to cook peanuts.
4.
And so when we run out, everybody's wanting them. Well, when we run out, we got to cook more.
We had to cook more.
3 hours scratch.
Well, we got 3 hours of people going, where's your damn peanuts?
We're waiting. We're cooking.
They're boiling hard as they can.
You know better for this year.
So what ended up costing us truly was the fact that they came by our table and put 2 buckets on it.
Yep.
They put one on Tony's side and one. I mean, we were literally serving off one table. We didn't realize it. So they had 2 buckets. So people were putting their boats in the buckets.
In
separate.
So they were separating it.
Yep.
So instead, or like what we should have done when they came to take them is
took
put them all
bucket.
together.
You took one bucket
put them
off
all
the
together
and hit it,
and
just
there.
left one bucket on the table.
Well, we had lots and lots and lots of boats, but they were split up.
They were split between two.
The 2 of us. So everybody else had 1 bucket, no matter how many different flavors they was serving or making.
Yep.
So
you got to stack them all in 1 bucket.
So we are reserved. We have a spot for the championship. It's coming back this year, 2024. Our good friends at SBB are hosting it once again. And we are reserved for a spot. So just letting you know, I already talked to Couch and we're reserved. So we're coming back and we're gonna play this thing back the right way.
That's right. We coming back.
And I can promise you, we will have pre-cooked peanuts.
Oh, I'll have 4 bushels cooked at the house.
Yep.
Ready to go.
The Front Porch Club will be open for 2 days, and it will be nonstop.
We will have peanuts in a cooler somewhere sitting, and if we got to cheat, we got to cheat. But we coming.
No, I'm not.
We coming for redemption.
I'm not cheating. I'm coming back to win it the way it should be won.
Correct.
But I'm going to make sure that I know all the rules on whether you can pre-cook prior to the event or can't, because we was under the understanding you had to cook them on site.
Well, we got
there's a big difference between cooking them and warming them up.
Yeah, but we got a new toy too. We got that new cooker.
Yep.
That'll help. And I'll tell you, there was 2 people that were pressure cooking them. They had big pressure cookers, and they were able to cook them quick. Yep. We didn't have that.
Yeah, you can bust them out hour
and a half with a pressure cooker.
Yeah. So, but anyway, hey, it's time to don't forget Sunday, tomorrow, Collard Green Cook-Off. But we are going to take a break.
Come early. It's going to be crowded.
Very crowded.
Really crowded.
We that was discussed yesterday. It is going to be crowded. The weather looks perfect for a Collard Green Cook-Off.
Yep.
So make sure you get out there, and it is for a great cause. Our good friend Sarah Bryson, Captain Sarah, is the athletic director at St. Michael's, and all the funds tomorrow raised will go to St. Michael's, and hopefully a lot of it will help the athletic department and help with all that. So Sarah, We've donated, given her some prizes. They got some great raffles. They're going to have a 50-50. So all that tomorrow at Uncle Tito's, and we got a lot more to talk about, but we'll come back on the other side of break. Jenna, are you ready? Perry's Bait and Tackle has been making their customers' days on the water more successful and enjoyable for nearly 70 years. Perry's is a fully staffed and stocked, family-owned tackle shop just north of the Marsh Wall. They have always taken pride in the best hand-tied rigs and a knowledgeable staff that is comprised of charter captains and experienced anglers. Their close proximity to the water allow them to offer the very best in live bait, and the options are endless. Perry's is now fully stocked with everything you need to make your day on the water a success. If you're in town visiting with no equipment, Perry's is your one-stop shop with apparel, tackle, baits, rods and reels, and boating supplies. Perry's Bait and Tackle, serving Murrells Inlet since 1954. All right, fish heads, I'm here. I'm alive. Welcome to the Southern Anglers Radio Show. Coming back to you now. We're coming via the Pond Road Storage studio here in beautiful Murrells Inlet, but I'll tell you, we got Jenna back there at the Sparks Toyota Tundra studio, keeping things straight. And Tony, you can now take over with your part.
Hey, and we also brought to you by Key West Boats and Marshall Marina, Blake City, and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day. Hemmed by the Freedom Boat Club, where your boat is waiting, and Monarch Roofing, our good buddy Bert Williams, who I forgot, I should have called him because he had said he might come in this week, and that would have been great to have him in here because he's apparently got plans to host a flounder tournament, and it would be nice to talk to him a little bit about that and hear his plans, considering my name was announced in one of his posts about it, and I have no clue about it. So we're going to get together, but I can tell you if Bert does it, it's going to be first class, and there will be enough beer at this one. He has called enough heck about that golf tournament. But anyway, we are back. And speaking of golf tournaments, this Thursday at True Blue is the Tees for Keys golf tournament for our good friends at Habitat for Humanities of Georgetown. And I am going to be there. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to record an hour of the show for Saturday on Thursday, and I've got Bob Saganti, the head pro director of golf at Caledonia and True Blue, is a great friend of mine, a avid outdoorsman, huge fisherman, and he is excited to sit in with me and to do it at if anybody at True Blue, over the top of number 18 tee box at True Blue is just going to be awesome. I mean, 18 green on that back deck. So we're going to do an hour of the show for next Saturday. With the incredible group of people out there. But the Habitat for Humanity does a lot of great things, and we're also excited about June 1st, the Habitat for Humanity's Inshore Slam down in Georgetown. Exactly, you better be fishing it.
I will.
We're gonna have a great time with that. We got plenty of time to promote it, but we've got a lot of other things to promote fishing-wise. And Grand Strand Saltwater Anglers, let's don't forget them, April 25th, 6th. For some reason, it just seems like February, March, and April are all something on that 23rd, 24th, and it's 25th. And I'm going to make it right today. It is April 27th, and the captain's meeting is the 26th at the Beaver Bar. Yeah. So we got that coming up and a bunch of other stuff. But looking forward to golf next week with my family. I've got the Glover Tribe are coming out of not retirement because, we kind of did semi-retire after we won the Dead Dog charity golf tournament. Huh?
Hibernation?
Yeah, we hibernated. That's
hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus. So, and we're going to have Russ for a caddy because Georgetown County is out for the entire week this week. Of course, President's Day is Monday. So, by the way, if you didn't get to the bank yesterday, you're screwed until Tuesday. President's Day is Monday, and Horry County is out Monday and Tuesday. Georgetown County, because of our new schedule, we have the entire week off.
I'm going to have some grandbabies at the house, I guess.
Daddy daycare, and you'll have grandbabies. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be, and I've got some great plans. I'll be honest with you. I think Russ and I might slide down to visit Christy at Hidden Marina this week and do some Georgetown fishing and maybe go try to find a striper. At least if me and Russ go and it's just the two of us, I don't feel any pressure that if I don't catch one, we wasted time. But we might head down there and have a boys' day or two. And by the way, it'll be open. If you guys will have room if y'all want to come down there and join us. There's plenty of room on that 25-footer, by the way.
And the stripers are there right now.
They should be.
That.
This is that time of the year.
Me and Andrew called them last week.
I got a crazy week this week. I'm trying to shove 6 days worth of work in 4 so I can go pre-fishing.
So you can go pre-fishing.
Yeah.
Well,
so I can go pre-fishing.
Listen.
Tony and I, listen, we have toyed with the thought yesterday. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I host a podcast. I host 2 podcasts. I love hosting a podcast. I also found out yesterday that I really love listening to podcasts. And yesterday on my Trilogy Outdoors magazine delivery day, I suckered Tony into going with me for cost of buying him lunch. And we got to listening to a podcast.
Yeah, I didn't tell him how long it was
And
beforehand.
we listened to this podcast from the moment we left, pretty much, or about maybe 20 minutes into the. We had Palmetto State Armory. We were there,
Yep.
and then we started listening.
Yep.
And we did not quit listening to it until 30 minutes after I got home. And after dropping Tony off at home, and let me tell y'all where we went. We went to North Carolina. We went to Loris. We went to Conway. Hell, I think we would have listened to it while we were eating lunch at Jamestown if we'd have had it in there. But there, listen, we've talked about it in the past. J.T. Tompkins, honestly, he is one of the best bass fishermen out there.
Yes, he is.
And he has an incredible opportunity. But bass fishing is changing. And
Every second of the day.
And it is just from the podcast that we listened to yesterday and the one we started listening to this morning, I'm just telling you this, that the money in bass fishing is not there. It's not all based on your ability as a fisherman.
No, sir.
Thank you.
I've said it for
This
years.
is where we're going with this.
You got to have a social game.
Thank you. That's
You
it.
got to have a huge social game
Yes, sir.
to get the sponsors, to get everything straight. That young man can catch fish anywhere in this country on any day of the
Yep.
week. Everybody that has watched him for 5 minutes understands this. But now it's time to get the other 3 aspects of the deal together. Sponsors.
You were with us in Conway, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
When he came out there. Listen,
was.
He's
amazing.
So I started going through that video. Y'all remember how, we were all intrigued and just, you weren't there. You didn't make it.
Yeah, I didn't make it that day.
Started talking with everybody in that
We started
room.
talking with him. I filmed an hour and 7 minutes of it until the camera died. But we got some great video content. And this is, again, something that potential sponsors need to know about JT that they'll never get to see. They'll never get to hear by him sitting on the bow of the boat catching fish.
Nope.
But I am going to go through this video, edit out some snippets, and I'm going to send it to him because he needs to get it on his social media.
He reminds me a lot of you, Tony, in he does his due diligence on research, on his baits, on his rods, on his line, on how all of it will jive together in the water and the feel of that.
That's the difference between being good and great.
No, that's the difference of being a kid who it was drilled in his head by either his dad or you or whoever to learn the water, get seat time on the water, learn what you're using, and don't worry about the electronics and all the gizmos that they just sucker you in with. You don't need them. It's nice to have them.
You
but
have
like,
to have them now.
You've got to have them.
But like last weekend, I watched 2 guys with live scopes fish all day, and like I said, they were just mad. They were mad at the end of the day because they saw fish all day and could not get. They could see their bait in front of the fish, couldn't get a strike.
I got video. I videoed my screen this week. Tony will tell you right now.
You did?
I videoed my screen. I recorded my Garmin.
I heard of all your black drums sitting there.
I recorded my Garmin, and it was grotesque. And if you want to talk about it, I went 18 miles. I was 18 miles away, roughly. And when I pulled up, I started off on the edge of the ship. Listen, people, if you have never seen what live scope looks like, it is unbelievable. But I started off on the edge of the ship where I like to. I know that on the edge of the wreck is normally where I catch sheep's head, for a lot of various reasons. But once I watch this video, I know why I catch them there. That's where they hang out. They swim around the edge of the wreck. The black sea bass are on top. You see the little pesky little piss ants on top, and then the black drum were all swimming around the bottom.
Yep.
Well, on Friday last week when I took Chief Hill, we caught those black drum. We caught some sheep's head. I caught 2 sheep's head in 3.5 hours the other day out there, and they were both nice ones. Caught one little one, and the black bass were just on it every time you dropped it down there. And I moved and moved and moved and moved. But the video I put up, you can see that shrimp boat. And I pan, and you can see in the video that you can tell that I'm panning the transducer, and the ship it's 3-dimensional. Like, it's insane.
Yep.
It's video game fishing. It's
video game fishing.
It's the coolest thing since sliced bread, but there again,
I caught 2 fish.
I get that.
You know, I could come sit here. I'm on the radio. I can say, "Oh, I caught 25," and blah blah blah. And you need to listen to me.
The question that you guys ask every week: do you want to know or not?
Yep.
Personally, I don't want to know that they're down there, and I'm not catching them. My little itty bitty Garmin small screen that gives me the depth, the temperature. That's all I really need.
Yep.
I don't rely on it to find fish. I use seat time. That's just me.
I talked to Marshalls this week. I talked to Scotty this week. There's another customer who's actually going to be fishing salt. Rick Holt, my buddy Rick Holt, his granddaughter's going to be fishing salt.
Nice.
And he got live scope mounted on his Key West. He's super excited and wants to go with me and see, how I use it and everything else. And I'll be honest with you, Tony will tell you that I really have dumbed it down. I mean, I don't go crazy. I don't think I have to. If you watch the quality of that video, maybe there's some fine tuning that I could come up with, make some smaller changes. But for the most part, where it's at is auto gain, and I adjust the depth to where I feel better. And I say that in a sense, like sometimes I feel like your picture's better if you set it like 20 feet deeper than what you're in. That it gives me a little bit better picture of the structure and everything else. But it is a game changer. But you got to catch them.
Yeah,
you still got to catch them.
Yeah,
they got to bite. And,
yep.
Listen, I stopped by Inlet Rocks Bait and Tackle. I had the only fiddler crabs that there were in the inlet, and they were frozen. Unfortunately, our suppliers down south are not getting enough fiddler crabs to get here to us. They're not making it here. They're all getting bought up before they get here.
Yep.
Now,
I actually saw that.
This is what took up our first half of our morning yesterday was we were contemplating how we can go to Florida and
keep fiddler crabs alive.
And fill that enclosed trailer up with fiddler crabs and get back here. I'm not going to lie. We were.
Well, when you got bait and tackle shops that are requesting 40 and 50,000.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for the guy, the third one down the line, to get any.
Yeah, so
when
it's
the
not
first
making
two
it.
take the first 100,000, there is none for anybody else.
It's very difficult for the suppliers.
Now, if you got a little net,
get that much to begin with, but then to get that much and transport 50,000 fiddler crabs.
That's a lot.
2 states away and try to keep them alive.
Yeah.
And then when you give them to your dealers, then they run the risk, and this is the problem. They lose half of them overnight.
Dead loss.
If they're not washed and purged and because of everything they put off of them, their bodies. They get them. Oh, I got 10,000 fiddler crabs. And you get back the next morning.
You got 1,000. 1,500.
You got 1,500, 2,000 of them just dead.
Yep.
So you just lost every bit of your profit.
Now you're just trying to make. Now you're just trying to make face.
You're trying to break even and praying that the people that comes and buys them. I mean, sheep's head fishing is the easiest dumbed down fishing there is. It's a hook and a split shot. So it's not like they're going to come in the bait shop and spend a lot of money on tackle when they come to get them. They've got one thing in mind, and they know how to go get them. And most people, now, there's some people who get really into it in different ways and techniques, but most people, a split shot and a hook.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
They're just
Fish rocks.
So there's not a big sale of tackle that goes along with the live fiddler crabs. It's just one of those baits. It's not like shrimp where, people's got to have corks and they got to have weights and they got to have hooks and leaders. And so,
well,
when you take the chance of buying 50,000 friggin' fiddler crabs, if you got the opportunity to lose half of them, look how much money it just cost you to get them as a bait tackle owner.
All right, so I want to be honest about something too, because I did try some. I tried. So what do we catch sheep's head on in October and November?
Shrimp.
So I took shrimp, live shrimp.
Yep.
Okay, took live shrimp.
I did too.
After about a dozen, we were like done. I mean, it was just black sea bass, I mean, literally, like we would watch them.
The endangered, elusive black sea bass.
Yeah, they were straight there. So I mean, listen, our job is to promote our sponsors, promote every bait that Ronald has, every bait that Perry's has, every bait that Pawleys Island Outdoors has. But those live shrimp will probably catch those sheep's head if they could sit there for a minute.
If they could make it through the onslaught of sea bass.
Yeah. But they won't. And so, I mean,
I was out the same day that you were out, and I wanted to be out at 10 in the morning, didn't get out at 12:30. I asked Tony shot the thing, how's that wind treating you? I had 30 minutes where it was nice in the creek, and then for me, for your boat, it wasn't bad. For me, it was like gale force winds.
No, it picked up. Let me tell you, we started
blowing.
we at 12:15, I saw it. Like I saw the white caps starting to bust. So we came back and hit Pawleys Reef, which typically, again, is another reef like the North Inlet Reef where they do go spawn. And I say they're spawning. I don't know what they're doing, but I would guess that that's what they're doing. We went there, and it was black bass, black bass, black bass, black bass. And I should have videoed it on the screen, but I honestly had gotten cold. I got cold. I didn't have enough clothes on, and that wind was getting nasty. But I got on top of the two APCs at Pawleys Reef, which I knew there was one. I didn't know there was two. They're side by side. And you could literally see that it is a troop carrier. You can see both of them. You can see that they were armored personnel carriers.
Yep. Nice. I wore shorts.
You could see the hornet's nest of black sea bass that was hanging out on it. And there were some bigger fish down there, but again,
getting to them is the thing.
Yep.
If you go right now, English is doing a guide years and years ago. He had to take somebody out and they want to go bottom fishing this time of the year. And he was like, I am so over unhooking black sea bass. I'm like, you just do it, get you some of them yellow rubber gloves that come up to your elbows that you wash dishes with.
Yep.
And get you a set of gruntings and put them on, because you're going to get nasty, slimy.
Yep.
And they never just get it in the corner of their mouth.
No, they gut.
It is
it's
always down in the gut.
I've always said, if I could ever get a bass to eat a jig the way that
a sea bass
eats everything,
I'd never lose a bass if that was the case.
Dude, my life would be good.
Well, we need to go back to where we started on this, and that is those podcasts. And I want to talk about it. The name of the podcast is, Tony, come on.
Low Budget Live.
Low Budget Live. And
Luke Duncan.
Yeah, with Luke Duncan, but also we were watching the first one. That the real interesting is Redneck
Famous with Todd Castledine.
Yep. Redneck Famous with Todd Castledine and with Slick Johnson. Now, I think everybody that watches it, whether you're a fisherman or not, we're all going to associate with Slick Johnson. He just seems like a lovable dude.
Stand-up guy. Who is a phenomenal, one of the best fishermen on the planet, and has been for many, many years. But he
is a better social media player than he is a fisherman. I'll say, I mean, there's no doubt about it. The guy is one of the best at social media, playing the game. And it's funny because he even said it. He said, if I had half the money that I've gotten other anglers in sponsorships, and that's where this was all going. But he said, if I had half the money that I've gotten other anglers from companies for sponsorships, he said, I'd be rich.
Yep.
And what we're referring to is, Fishing Chaos, John Kelligaz, has been very active with JT Tompkins. He has through different Logan Parks, getting them connected, and Slick and JT. Slick knows. I mean, anybody in bass fishing knows who JT is, and Slick and JT have been conversating for over the year. I mean, as we just found out, they were together at ICAST this year, and you know, he kept telling him, JT, listen, man, just keep doing what you're doing and build relationships right now and stuff. And first and foremost, I'm gonna tell you that the one thing I learned, and trust me, that boat right there, that truck right there, they're only because of relationship. They're not for anything else. Trust me, I am no Slick Johnson, not even close. But it is building relationships first, and then ask them what you can do for them. This is the one thing that they kept saying. What can I do for you? 100%. He said, I love the guy that walks up at ICAST, and you know, I'm not going to pick on any of our buddies, but they all went to ICAST the last couple of years, and I think the first thing they went in their mind was, what can I get? You know, it's like, what am I going to get? And that was the thing.
And now, remind you, the game has changed. 10 years ago, it wasn't like this.
No.
Now you've got these kids coming out of high school, and that's all they know. They want to become professional fishermen, and they walking into Marshall's, and they're not asking for a shirt and some stickers.
No, they want an $80,000 boat.
Exactly. They're walking in there expecting to get $100,000 thrown in their hand.
Yep.
With the, what are you going to give me mentality, instead of, what can I do?
What can I do for you?
How can I sell your product to help your company?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, these sponsors, they are a business.
Oh, trust me.
And they want to help you, but
I'm learning this through the kayak club, trying to get
they
sponsors
need
for us.
you to sell their product. And trust me, you're not going to sell product catching fish. We talked about it yesterday.
We talked about it. Now, Tony knows and has been with me for a long time, and in particular over the last 3 years with Trilogy coming about and everything else. Tony also understands that there are people that have wanted to advertise with us that I have, how would you say it, like kindly deferred.
They
didn't fit your mold. They didn't fit the program's
I guess
mold.
that would be it. I mean, I guess that's what you'd say, but also I just don't, I mean, Tony, I don't like to promote things that I don't use.
Exactly.
Do I? I mean, we don't. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to sit there and tell you. And Tony's not either. We're not going to tell you that we caught a fish. We caught fish on this bait, just because some guy's giving me 2 packs of bait.
No,
Not going to.
Nope.
Integrity is the number one thing across the board, period, in everything you do. And people will see through your integrity, and they will put you on a BS monitor so fast.
Yeah, they will.
Once you get on that BS monitor, you ain't coming off.
Nope.
In today's world, with everything being on social media and video and everything that you do in a boat on live, JT can't get on a boat and go catch fish on a Rapala DT10 all day long and then come back to the scales and say you a bunch of crap and says, oh, I caught him Carolina rigging a worm. Everybody in the world's done seen it. You done got 10 million downloads on live. Everybody knows what you
were. Yep.
So they see through the bull
Yep.
real fast.
Yep.
And you have to be on your A game. I mean, you really do. And
Well,
like we was talking about the fishing aspect part, and we talked about it yesterday in the truck with John. And I did some high school seminars and talks and stuff like that. And I always tell these kids, I use Kevin Van Dam, who's the best who ever played a game, bar none. Nobody's even on the same planet as him. He didn't do it catching fish. Yes, he catches fish. Yes, he's got the trophies and stuff behind it. But it's because of his backing, his social media, and what he does for these companies. Look at his record, 27 wins.
27 wins.
Yep.
27 wins and 3,000 losses. The numbers don't add up.
No.
They wasn't paying him to catch a fish. They never paid him to catch a fish.
You just think about this. How about Tom Brady if he had 27 wins and 3,000 losses? Would he be the GOAT?
No.
Absolutely
No.
not.
But he'd still be the face of football because the NFL made him the face of football.
Right.
You know.
Well,
when you got a good PR game and you stand behind products that you believe in and rep them that way, people get on board with you.
You know, here's the other thing. Tony and I have done it, and I've wasted so much video and taken so much video that now after yesterday, and I have honestly, I mean, John from Fishing Chaos and I've had this conversation twice now. We've talked about it. Like, you're continually making content. Every time you go fishing, you've got content. The problem, and this is where, and first off, we are not beating JT up at all. I mean,
God, no.
I'm number one fan. We're the number one fans. I mean, I have offered so much, and I will do whatever I can to help that young man. I don't want money for it. I help him.
We were sitting here talking about it this morning.
Pull your mic back. Can't hear you.
I don't want JT, as hard as he's worked to get where he's at. The last thing that I want to see happen to that young man is him not still be there
Because of social media.
because he works so hard.
Yep.
At
Pull your mic in.
everything he does.
You're not coming in. There you go.
He works so hard at everything he does. He has put in the time, the seat time, the effort, the research. He's done every aspect of the thing.
As much or more than anybody else out there. I mean,
probably more than the next 10 closest to it.
Yep. I agree with
And
that.
I don't want to see him make it to where he's at, and a year from now, him not still have the same passion because he's not getting what he rightfully deserves.
Yep.
Because of lack of something that he's not doing. And trust me, I know JT, and if he knows he's got to do it, he's going to do it the best that he can. Whatever that is.
It's going to be hard for him to come out of the fishing world and get in the social media game world.
Because
but he's doing it.
Because from when he was 5 years old, 8 years old, he has been tournament fishing driven.
Yep.
And that is that is JT. That is why he is who he is.
Yep.
He's got to find a way to work that other part in. I'm going to say this, and I know John's not listening, but this is going to be out there on our podcast, on Southern Anglers Radio Show. So it is recorded. So here we go. Like Castledine said, anything I say on here is always going to be there.
That's like I said.
But I'm going to say the one thing is this. John said yesterday the worst thing that could happen for JT right now is for him to win.
Yep.
I don't get that.
Well,
when he said it, my mind.
That just puzzled me.
Okay, it puzzled.
All right, it puzzled you, but
because you haven't been in the game and you don't understand. Right now, with JT, the way he's fishing, he is at the top of the game.
Top of the
Yeah,
game.
he's on fire.
He is right now. He is Kevin Van Dam 20 years ago.
And let's clarify this real quick. I don't want to bust in, y'all. Listen, JT Tompkins is from Myrtle Beach, and this is for anybody that's listening. That we're assuming that you know who JT is.
Yeah.
JT Tompkins, young man, grew up in Myrtle Beach, had an unbelievable. I'm calling it record-breaking year in the EQ Bassmasters Open qualifiers this year. Won the qualifier for the year. Top of the game.
Unheard of season.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, the points he had were unbelievable. And JT is starting this week on the Elite Series.
Yep.
He will be an angler. And what we are talking about, we are, again, not beating JT up at all. We are big fans. We are just talking about how bass fishing, professional bass fishing has changed. And honestly, like your ability to catch fish, that's probably 25% of where most of their income comes from. That other comes from social media and from the promotion of their sponsors. And Tony, you keep going, and I probably screwed you up where you're at.
No, you didn't. And it is puzzling to people why he would say that. Okay? Well, right now, the way the game is moving, bass fishing in general, where it's going, it's changed. It's not you just go out and catch fish anymore and do good and oh, the money's gonna flow in. You know,
No, that ain't the way it works.
those days of fishing are gone. They found out that the word everybody uses, the brands, they have a job. They are business. These are corporate businesses. Strike King, Blues.
Z-Man.
These are giant corporations.
Yep.
And they need to sell product, period. And Slick was talking about how many you have, how many millions of people you have, and are you reaching that little tiny bubble, or are you reaching the 52 million out
Yep. Are you reaching the people that are actually spending the money?
Exactly.
We need to go to break, guys.
Okay. Well,
Hold that thought.
hold that thought.
I'll hold that thought, and I'll come right
Hold
back
that
with
thought.
I got
Can
it.
you hold it?
I
All
got
right.
it, baby.
I'll hold it.
I'll hold your hat down for you.
And I don't want y'all to go anywhere. So y'all
Yeah,
y'all
y'all
stay
need to
right
hear
there.
this.
We come back on the other side of this break. We are going to continue to talk about how the world of bass fishing is changing and the world of professional fishing is changing. And we got some other stuff to talk about. We're going to try and get Captain Rayburn Poston from Salt on with us, but we're going to come back and finish this because we can't get off this soapbox right now.
No, we need to
All right.
be said.
Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the Southern Anglers Radio Show. We're right here on Gator 107.9. Michelob Ultra and Myrtle Beach wholesaler Southern Crown Partners Incorporated know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Mick Ultra's crisp and refreshing taste in hand. It's important to remember to drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or to designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Michelob Ultra salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water. All right, fish heads, we are back here on the Southern Anglers Radio Show, coming to you live via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in.
And by Key West Boats and Morrison Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day. And by the Freedom Boat Club, where your boat is waiting. And our good friends at Monarch Roofing, taking care of you and taking care of veterans out there. And we are back, and we are not beating a dead horse. We are talking a little bit here about the way professional bass fishing has changed, and in particular, how the social media game has pretty much superseded the fishing talent of anglers out there. And you know, Tony, you were starting on a soapbox there, talking about some of the ways it's changed, and how John Callagaz had made the comment that the worst thing JT could do was win, because he would miss out on so much financial possibilities because of the lack of that presence on social media.
The reason he said that, and he wasn't being negative.
And he's a fan of JT's too, so he's
very good friend of JT's. He said the worst thing could happen to JT right now is to go out here on his first year and win an event. And it immediately made sense to me, like I said. But you're sitting there still, you're puzzled.
To me, I would think you'd want him
That'd
to win.
be the best thing.
To put him up on the social media platform and get it out there.
Well, listen.
That's in my head.
Okay, well, listen. With that said, and I'll explain this in just a minute. If he wins at this point, what does he have to go on? What does he have to build on? I told you so. I can make it by doing it the way I've been doing it. That's where his mind goes.
Yep.
What I've been doing worked. Is it going to continue to work is going to be the big question, and it's not going to work in the years to come in the industry.
Yep.
Because of the way the industry
the way it's changing. So,
gotcha.
Him winning would be an awesome thing, but it would be bad for JT's mentality right now with him working as hard as he worked the last year, and nobody will never know how hard this kid worked to accomplish. Dude, you know how many boats fish the opens? There's 260 boats.
Yep.
Them opens with the co-anglers, the weigh-ins take 4 and 5 hours.
Yeah, we watched one last night.
It is ridiculous. And
All right. Pause.
I got to
Hang
pause
on.
for a second.
We got to pause. Hang on. I got something here. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on.
That's got me giggling this morning. Here, I'll pull it back up.
All right. Go ahead. Do it. You got to do it, Donald.
I want to wish Madeline Nicole Sargent a very happy birthday. She's
Happy
at home
birthday.
laying in the bed listening to the show this morning. Happy birthday, sweetheart. I hope you have a great day.
Happy
Just lay in the bed and
birthday,
enjoy it.
darling.
Hey,
There you go.
I have a birthday shout out too.
Okay, go ahead, Super Jenna.
I have a birthday shout out for one of my bonus children that I work with at the restaurant. His name is Richie, and it is his 18th birthday.
Well, happy
Happy
birthday.
18th birthday. Woohoo.
Yeah, everybody. All right, we got those out the way.
Yes.
Good job, buddy.
Thank
Good
you.
job. And by the way, just so you know, he was going to do that, but that was great that you just got that text.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So-
what we were saying was
Pull that microphone back up.
it'll be a great thing for JT to win for his business profile.
Yeah, right.
And
Yep.
but mentally, and I really hate to say that because I know JT. I know how hard he works. I know the person he is, and he's just got to shift some of his focus to different aspects of what the sport has become, and it is. We listened to Todd Castledine yesterday, and he puts it as good as anybody could put it. When he started fishing, he was like me. And I would put $500 up against anybody, anytime, anywhere, because all I had to do was beat you with a rod and reel.
Yep.
That's it. It was me against you. I just had to outfish you
Yep.
with just a rod and reel. It ain't that way anymore. Now you got to compete against the boats that can make it out in 6-footers to get to where the fish are. You got to have the electronics. You got to have those things. So you're not just fishing against another man and his fishing ability anymore.
No, you're fishing against all the products that they get behind them and their ability.
That was 100% the way I grew up from 1970 to now fishing tournaments. It was just me against you. And I was willing to put money up against anybody and fish against you. And if you beat me, hey, my hat's off, brother. You done good. You just kicked one of the best butt, period. I ain't had that in a long time because the English will tell you I am electronic dumb, and I have not kept up with that side of the industry. And it has surpassed me and went on, yeah, can I get lucky and go catch a big fish? Can I catch fish? Oh, yeah, I can catch fish all the time.
Yep.
But can I catch the winning fish all the time? No. You got to be lucky, and you got to be really good.
Yeah.
And I will say the name. I'll give you an example. Brian New.
Young guy,
You know who that guy is?
Yep.
North Carolina,
Yep. Know who you're
had been
talking about.
fishing hard.
Fish with some of the greatest to play this game. So the top names in this sport right now. He made it to the elites, and he won his very first
Very
tournament.
first tournament.
Very first tournament, he come out and he won the elites.
Yep. And he was still employed by the state of North Carolina working on the highway department.
Yep.
And his career has not,
It hasn't went up.
it hadn't went up. It's staying level
Yep.
right now.
It's like he hit his plateau and he can't climb any higher for some
And
reason.
I'm telling you,
And
he's,
the boy, he can fish.
he's one of the best to swing a stick, son.
Yeah, he can
Don't
fish.
ever fool yourself.
But he's another one that don't spend that time on the social media.
100%. And that's right now. All this that we're talking about, all this being said, is just what we're trying to get across is you better keep up with the game and the rules.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like we was talking about me and him with the boiled peanuts earlier.
Yep.
We didn't have all the rules in place that we knew what we could do, and it bit us in the butt.
Yep.
We lost because of it. Same thing will happen in fishing right now. If you're not on your A game, you're not using every aspect of it to build your brand, and all your sponsors' brand, you're going to get left behind. And you're going to be out of it in 2 years, and you're going to look back and you're going to be very regretful and hurt, mentally and physically, because of all the time and hard work and passion you put into it.
Yep.
And you didn't get what you was expecting to get at the end of the rainbow. So
this year, I'll say the last 7 months have been humbling for me for that aspect. Like, I reached out to
you're breaking into something new.
my brand kayak. I stand behind that brand 100% over all the other brands out there for a couple reasons, and I promote them to high hills. When I reached out to them, hey man, I promote your product to the high hills. I love it. I've been in it for XXX. What do I got to do to be part of Team X and X? Straight point blank, I need 138 more people on my Facebook page. Since I don't have a TikToky or a YouTuber yet, I got to have the 1,000 on Facebook to even qualify for them to pick me up as a sponsor for next year in 2025. Not this year's too far gone. But it's humbling. I mean, it is absolutely humbling when you really get into this. Trying to pick up sponsors is a hard thing, man. Hard.
It's hard. And
look, you got to think. Now, me and English talked about it this morning, sitting in the truck while we was waiting on you and the radio show to start. People are complaining about the sport, and right now the sport's got a black eye, a real big black eye. There's some things going on that is not cool, that has never been bass fishing, and shouldn't be here now, but it is. I'm gonna hold that.
You can say whatever. Keep going.
No, I'll hold that one to later.
I hear you.
I'll hold it later.
No, it has changed. It's like that one bigger brand that I was telling you that I'm going to fish their first tournament of the year. They shrunk down from 9 cities to 4 because of the black eye that they gave themselves last year, and they're trying to recoup off of it. Hopefully it does, and hopefully they get back to it. But it's like I put in I follow him and we chat. For the small guy like me that's going to sleep in his truck at the ramp, it's more feasible to do 4 or 5 cities in the same part of the U.S. than what I tried to do last year, putting 17,000 miles on my truck, driving all over this country, chasing the green fish and sleeping at boat ramps. That was insane what I did last year. This year's a little bit nicer.
It put a beating on you too, didn't it?
Oh man, put a beating on me.
Well, it didn't help much to know that
blue.
It didn't help much to know that if you won, your check might not be good.
Yeah, when I found that out after the fourth one, boy, I was
that hurts.
That hurt bad.
Well, I tell you, I know we kind of gotten on a little bit more of off the wall tangent here with this discussion, but I think I don't care if you're a fisherman or not. I think that most people have heard a lot about the change in bass fishing. They've heard what LiveScope has done to bass fishing, and they realize it. And with us being on the first week of JT's professional, and he's been a pro, but the first week of his opportunity on the Elite Series, I just thought it was something that we needed to discuss and bring up. And after watching all the podcasts that we did yesterday, I felt like it was something that we could share, and I wanted to share. But I know we need to talk more locally and about things going on here. And I do want to talk about the bass, and let's talk about the river. I went back again last Saturday after the radio show. Went back and took some shiners again. Went out, crappie minnows, whatever you want to call them. Went back out to put in at Enterprise right there in Socastee. Came back up the river to Bucksport. Went right to where those fish were the other day. Put the live scope down, and they were there again. And not a bite.
You couldn't get nothing on a shiner.
Nope, not a bite. And listen, I'm going to tell you. That's
crazy.
You've seen live scope.
Oh yeah.
You could see the bait go right through the fish. Like I literally saw the bait sitting in the fish. And then I went to another spot that was off on a side creek, a little deeper hole that had some structure in it, had some laydowns, and there were fish on it. And I fished it until I had 2 6-year-olds on the boat with me. Their patience was wearing thin, and mine was wearing thin because theirs was wearing thin. But no bites at all. And
on shine,
man, it is
That's crazy.
And I am completely over it. You know, I want to go try something different. I want to go back there. I want to figure out how to do it, how to catch them. They're there. They're fish there. But like I told Tony, who's to say they're not brim?
Exactly.
Who's to say they're not, shell crackers or brim or something different?
Mouth or something else.
That, I'm thinking in my head going, well, hey, if it's brim, they should hit that minnow. Tony's right. I mean, their mouths are so small, they're not going to put that minnow in there.
It's hard for a brim to eat a minnow that's more than an inch long.
Yeah.
Yep. Because their mouths are so tiny.
And these were good size little crappie minnows, but it's just amazing. But I know I saw bass there, and I didn't have anything to throw for bass, but I know I saw bass.
Bass should have come after the shiners themselves.
I would have thought so, too. We've caught plenty on them.
The last time me and English went crappie fishing, we went right here in the marina at Wakawachi.
And we wore the bass out.
Didn't catch a crappie, but my God, we couldn't keep the bass off of them.
Yeah.
It just sat in one spot, never moved, and just continuously had bass biting.
Yep.
But
it was like right now. It was when they're staging up to move back.
Yes, sir.
And
they was grouped up. They was pre-spawn, ready to feed, get their grind on, and we just sat there and had a good time.
But that's a great option right now if you want to go.
I thought about getting some shiners today and going to my favorite little pond to see if the crappie were biting. Now I might have to second thought that one.
Well, listen again. I saw where there ain't but one charter captain that does charters here on the river. I saw where he is now how long? Like 4 weeks of no fishing because of the water level, and he was supposedly going back, and he has dialed in crappie fishing. And he's still saying that he's not going back. So he's not catching them.
I judge my river fishing off of Mike Eady's Facebook page.
Yep.
And he's been in the ocean more than he's been on the river, so that tells me.
That tells you something.
Yeah.
He loves going crappie fishing
Yeah,
this time of year.
It's not time to hit the river yet.
Yep. I look at my buddy Jason Britt, and I'm sure somebody's going to call him and say, hey, they were talking about you. I look at Jason. If Jason hasn't been to his spots and called them, then I don't think they're biting. And Tony and I always, and I did it again, we'll normally troll first and troll real slow. And I did that the other day, trolled right through those fish with a beetle spin and with an underspin. I had a beetle spin and an underspin. And never got a bite. So maybe they're not biting. I don't know. I can't figure them out. I can tell you that.
There's a bunch of people in that same boat with you.
Timing. On that river over there right now with your water levels going up, down, up, down, up, down, it's got the fish suspended. They are confused.
Oh, yeah, their little minds are frazzled.
They're just not good. They have to eat. Mm-hmm. They have to eat every day. But
yeah, they do.
You got to be there when that time comes.
Yeah.
So timing is everything, and that could be at a mid-low tide. It could be at a dead low tide, a dead high tide. You just have to figure out what that feeding time for them is right now, and be around fish. You can fish all day and not be around fish, and there you go. You know the answer to that one.
Yeah, learned that. We've been learning that lesson a lot this year. Hopefully it's going to change soon.
Man, it happens to all of us. I mean, I look, and Jason's guys had great days 2 days ago, or whatever day it was beautiful out. They all had some really nice fish.
Yep.
Jason had texted me and said, dude, it's charter season again. I guess he had 6 or 7 trips, for some reason this week, all of a sudden, everybody said, I want to go fishing. And just because you want to go fishing doesn't mean the fish are going to bite, but those boys are on the fish, and they were able to catch them.
I've said it for a long time.
I had a good week 2 weeks ago, but since then it's been.
Yeah.
Barometric pressure plays a lot.
Yeah, it does.
In the fishing world. And trends play a lot. Today and tomorrow, 2 different days, 70 today, 50 tomorrow.
Vice versa, isn't it?
The
50
fish,
today, 70 tomorrow, right?
Yeah. No, tomorrow's supposed to be cold.
The fish don't feel air temperature.
No, but they feel that water temperature.
And the water has to change. And this time of the year, the water temperature is changing regularly. But it's on an upward trend right now. It's moving up a little at the time. Mm-hmm. So the first day after a cold front, you say, well, it was 40 yesterday and today is 70. If you thinking in your mind, oh, it's beautiful, the fish are going to be biting. Well, the fish didn't get that message.
No.
You know, they don't know that it's 70 degrees outside, but what does it take to get to 70 degrees? You come off a cloudy cold front of a 40-degree day. To get to 70, you got to have bright sunshine. And what does that mean? That means you got bluebird skies and high pressure.
Yep.
High barometric pressure. This time of the year, following the cold front, will shut the fish down quicker than anything you ever see in your life.
Talk about why pressure for the many hundreds or for all 15 people that are listening. Talk about why high pressure changes fish.
Well, it's the pressure on the fish itself.
Because of the swim bladder.
Their swim bladder gets pressure on them because of barometric pressure, and that's why they stay where they stay in the water column.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yep.
And the thermocline. That's your two major reasons, other than their feeding time. And like I said, they have to eat to live. But I've showed English this. You go to the river, pick you up a buzz bait as soon as you get there, and throw it and reel it in and look at it. If you're not leaving a bubble trail behind it, I promise you the barometric pressure is rising. I'll bet you 1,000 times out of 1,000 times, and I'll take your money every time. You get them days you'll go, and you can throw a buzz bait, and it leaves a bubble trail from the heel all the way back to the boat. That's because the barometric pressure is not putting pressure down on the water. It don't dissipate the bubbles. That's your easiest thing to find out, whether it's a top water kind of day or whether I need to go to the bottom, do a shaky head, throw a worm, a finesse bait, something like that. You can throw a buzz bait all day long, and there's no bubble trails coming up on the water behind it, and you are wasting your time.
Yeah.
You may get
one straggler fish to come up and nail it.
That may just ain't eating 3 days and starving to death. You just happen to run by, and he just, or a reaction bite to where it's aggravating him, and he'll slap at it.
Yep.
95% of the time, you're not going to get bit on those days on top of the water. And it's just because of the barometric pressure, putting pressure down on the water itself, that changes. And that's what fish relate to.
I learned something.
Yeah, you're right.
I got another feather in my hat, learning something.
Hey, thank you. All right, so we might have 17 listeners. Thank you, Kim Calton, for your comment. And Kim just sent me a great text, and he's correct. And I'm not going to repeat what he said, but he is correct. And you know, this is where our respect for JT really comes. We know how good a fisherman he is, and JT cares about the fishing side of it. He could care less about the other stuff. We know that.
And
the problem is
that's why he doesn't have a social media presence, because you said it yesterday. JT could get a call right now and be one of those kids that goes, "Oh man, I can't. I got to go see my girlfriend tonight." He ain't that dude.
No,
he ain't that dude, brother. Don't mistake it. He's that kid to tell you, "No, I'm not going to the ball game because I'm going my butt to the river."
Yep, the kid puts in work.
That's who he is.
Which is hard to find in young people his age this day. To put in the work that he put in, it's hard to find that in young people. It really is.
Yep.
That kid has done it, though. He's put in the work, put in the effort, time on the water.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, he reminds me a lot of you for the sheer fact he knows what that bait's supposed to do on his particular rod reel setup. He just does his due diligence, man.
You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to sit down, look at a bait, figure it out, and go, what makes that work?
Yep, exactly.
What makes it work?
Yep.
Once you figure out what makes that bait work, then you can learn how to use it and utilize it to your advantage.
Yep.
Because if it's not doing what it is supposed to be doing,
it's pointless. You might as well just throw a lead weight in the water and drag it across with a hook and hope you can snag something.
100%.
And that's fresh water, salt water. It doesn't matter what kind of water you're in. That's just point blank. You got to know what you're using and how to use it.
a spinner bait, if the blades ain't turning on it,
it's worthless. It's worthless.
It's worthless.
It's worthless.
It is
just will
worthless.
be
It's a chunk of lead with a hook
Yeah,
through the water.
Just be dragging a limb through the water.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you
100%.
owe it to yourself to know what makes them work, how they work, where they work, and why they work. And when you analyze everything as a bass fisherman, if you want to figure out fish, you figure out. I've told English, you catch your first fish, analyze him. Take 5 minutes and figure out where he come from, what I was doing. Was I stopping the lure? Was I moving the lure? Did it bump off of something? Did he come from a tree? Did he come from a lay down? Was he just out in the open? You have to analyze every bite you get.
Oh, yeah.
And when you do that, you will figure out what the fish are doing and why. And at the end of the day, you can look back over and you'll go, well, damn. 9 of those fish come off of standing timber. They didn't want to be on lay down wood. They wanted to be on vertical structure, and they could move up and down. And I'll tell you right now, fish in these rivers, they would much rather move up and down
Than side to
Then
side.
than
back
north
in-
to south.
Fighting the current. Yep.
They will go from 0 to 25 feet 10 times quicker than they will go 0 to 25 feet left.
Yep.
They don't want to move. They have certain places they can be in the tide because of water breaks and stuff like that. There's a reason they're there. They're not just there for whatever they just popped up. They there because it's a comfortable area for them to be in that spot, and they can do their job, which is swim and eat.
Yep.
Yep.
And Santee River,
Oh, yeah.
if you miss that much in Santee River,
Oh God, that's where I was getting ready to say.
You're off all day.
My first
6
experience.
inches will
will
kill
not
you.
be throwing.
My first experience bass fishing in Santee River. It was. This current is way too fast. I mean, I was like mentally just like, there's no way we're gonna catch a fish here. Well, it turned out the most fish that I caught in that whole river came from a little area that is the fastest current you can find in that river at any point in time. And Tony, I mean, we crushed it. That stretch is what, 500 yards long?
Yep.
And we crushed it in that one little area.
That's
All
funny.
because of moving a bait 4 inches further back
Yep.
towards the heel.
Being able to get it back there. Again, there we go.
In
Casting.
that little kill zone.
Learn to cast first.
You know, people used to get mad at my brother.
Hey, hold that thought. We got to go to break. We're gonna go one last break, Jen, and get it out the way, and we'll come back. We'll cover that and we'll finish it up. And don't go anywhere. So
I'll keep it short.
all right, keep it short. We're right here on the Gator 107.9. We're the Southern Anglers Radio Show. Right, fish heads. We're back on the Southern Anglers Radio Show, coming to you live via the Toyota Tundra Studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in.
And by Key West Boats and Marshall Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every
Every day.
And by Preta Boat Club, where the boat is waiting. And I'll tell you what, I don't know, Tony, I meant to text you. Have you seen the new Tacoma?
Yes.
You saw it?
I have.
You've not seen it?
I don't think
It's
so.
unbelievable.
Dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, every salesman that I'm friends with on Facebook has shared the pictures of it. They got one in at Sparks this week. Dude, it looks like it's as big as my Tundra. It does, but they look incredible.
The
If you want to
off-road
check one
package?
out, yes. If you want to check one out, head over there.
I don't want to hurt my feelings because I'll never be able to afford one.
Go over and see any of our buddies over there, Dave Bowering, Chip Bull, Michael Holmes, any of that crowd over there. They'll take good care of you, but go check out that Tacoma. It is unbelievable.
Yep. If I was going to get rid of old blue, that is
really does
exactly
look
what I'd be.
good.
Oh man, they are gorgeous.
I did not get, maybe when we do the 10-year anniversary, which we're on some moving dates here because of some other things, but we are doing our 10-year anniversary in March at Sparks Toyota, and hopefully we'll have one of those Tacomas over there. Maybe we can do some demo rides in it and check it out. But I can't imagine that the fuel mileage is going to have to be incredible on that thing. And if you're a Tundra driver like myself, I love my truck, don't get me wrong. But the only thing that I dislike is those trips to the gas pump when they do happen. But it pulls my boat like there's nothing behind it, so I'm very happy. And real quick, Lucas, just so you know, I did send you we will talk more in the coming months about an event that I'm working with Georgetown County Parks and Recreation on, and it is going to be a first of its kind tournament if it happens. It's not going to happen if it's not right. I'll just tell you that. I mean, it's not going to happen if it's not right. They're
Right.
right. When we say right, we mean right. But Lucas had a concern about one of the things, and that was the random draw of partners. And, maybe we get away from that. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we do allow the other teams. But it's very early right now. It is just a big blob of clay.
Speaking
We
of,
got to do a lot of molding.
what's up with the rodeo? Give us some rodeo insight.
April. It will start in April.
Okay.
And John and I talked yesterday for a while. For about an hour.
Yep.
John, the shell is already done. Everything's in place pretty much. The programs are in place, but because we're making some changes, the door slammed. Well, we're making some changes to it. We're finalizing those before we make it live, but it's not going to start till April. Just let everybody know, April, December.
Okay.
So there's no rush, but we do want to get it live within the next 2 weeks. I mean, he said it should be we should be live in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to have to obviously get all our weigh stations programmed on how we're going to do the weigh in, on how they're going to be able to upload the fish weights and everything else, but it's
going to be so much easier.
Yeah, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy.
So
It's going to make it a lot easier on you.
It's going to make it a lot easier.
Last year you
everyone.
stretched yourself thin.
Well, it's going to make it it's going to make it enjoyable for us, the anglers. It's going to make it enjoyable for our sponsors too. That's the thing.
100%.
And it's going to bring us more sponsors, and through our partnership with them. But Fishing Chaos is also helping and working with us on this. They're going to be working with us on this new event that we're trying to do in Georgetown. And also, I can say this, that there is going to be an Inshore Cup series that will include all the inshore tournaments along the Grand Strand. Approved inshore tournaments will be a part of it. Will be at every event. It will be a point system for the year. You will fish, your finish in each event will be how you gain points. And at the end of the year, Marshall's Marine Grand Strand Cup, Inshore Cup, the Grand Strand Inshore Cup, we will be awarding cash prizes. There will be a registration fee. In that registration fee, you will also be entering into the rodeo. So you're kind of going to get double whammy. You're going to get a little discount on both, but it'll join you for both. And it will include the Grand Strand Saltwater Anglers Flounder Tournament, the Habitat for Humanity Inshore Slam Tournament, the World Championship Spanish Mackerel Derby, the new Captain Scotty's Inshore Slam Tournament in Little River, the Merle's Inlet Marsh Walk Inshore Slam Tournament, the Merle's Inlet Rotary Flounder Tournament, and a trout tournament. And I'll just leave it at that for right now. A trout tournament where it will be finalized. The finals will be at the trout tournament, and the annual awards party will be in January at the Grand Strand Rodeo Banquet. It is a division, or however you want to call it. It will be a branch of the Grand Strand Fishing Rodeo, and it should be fun. Hopefully, it will increase participation for the tournaments, and hopefully that will help bring more people to it as well. You are not going to have to fish every tournament. Let's put that out there. I'm just going to say this. 75%, 60 to 75%, when we get our final number of tournaments, will be the points that will count. In other words, you fish 8 tournaments, it'll be your best 5. Best 4, best 5 will count. You'll be able to miss 3
or still be competitive,
or drop your worst 3. So if you have a bad tournament or you miss some, so we will leave the registration open until we get to that X event, whatever it is, whether it's the top 5 or top 4. We'll leave the registration open until then, and everything will be run through Fishing Chaos. You will be able to see where people stand. And the other thing is, just because somebody's leading after 2 tournaments or even after 3 tournaments, things can flip-flop and change so crazy, it's going to go all the way down to the end.
Yep. Awesome.
And I can't give away the point system yet because we're really not sure how we're going to do the points yet. We have a good idea. It's going to be a descending point value, obviously, in how you finish in the tournament. But whether it's just among the tournament, it's just among the Cup, the Marshall's Marine cup teams or whether it's the overall tournament and the points are divided out that way. We got to decide. So, because not everybody's going to be in it. We know that. We'd love for everybody to be in it. But that is something new for this year, too, as well. And I'm trying to answer all these questions. Trying to trying to figure out here. So, yeah, Keith Walker, go over there and check out that Tacoma. I know you're looking for a truck, brother. David Wilder said, you need to come fishing in Conway to crappier biting. Of course they are. Of course the crappier biting somewhere.
Of course they are. It's a Saturday and we're doing a radio show.
Yeah,
and are always biting.
And again, thanks to everybody that's tried to reach out or text or whatever during the show. We appreciate it. We've got to get this figured out. You know, our issue, and we got geese flying into the pond behind us. And that's, hey, we're Pond Road Storage. We got a pond here.
Full of geese.
We've got to figure out how to get online with the station so that we're able to free up a phone line so that Jenna can have phone calls and tie callers in with us, and we'll figure that out. Or I've got to figure out how to bring people in to the show through another route, because I do have the computer here tied into this podcaster, and if I can get something up to where they can call in on another thing, or we can take a call or something, a message over here that I can bring it through here. Listen, I'm dumb. I am computer dumb.
No, I'm computer dumb.
You're way smarter than I am.
It's amazing that I'm even able to work all this stuff and edit this and have this podcast up in 20 minutes as soon as we get off the air. But it does. There is a way that we can do it, and there is also a way that not Skype. We can't do Skype. We already learned that. But there's another way we can do it where we can talk to Jenna through the computer and have everything come through here to there. But anyway, that's technical stuff. And we'll have to get with Adam on that because he does understand all that.
Yep.
All right, so the Collard Green Cook-Off. Food will be served at 2 o'clock. It's a shotgun start for all the teams at 10 a.m., so they'll start cooking at 10 a.m. So if you want to smell that wonderful smell, get down there earlier. But I'm like Don, get there early.
Yeah.
Make sure you get there early. It's going to be crowded, y'all. It is. With that many teams cooking. And again, I think everybody's got cabin fever, and the weather's going to be perfect for a Collard Green Cook-Off tomorrow. So Uncle Tito's tomorrow, head over there. Again, 10-year anniversary coming up in March. We're going to be at Sparks, and it's going to be we're going for somewhere the 9th, 16th, or 23rd, somewhere in there. One of those 3 weeks. The 16th is Brody Bates Memorial Redfish Tournament that SALT and FCA and several other big groups put on, and it's a great tournament, lots of scholarship money, and Russ and I want to fish it. So we got to figure that out. Our 10-year anniversary technically is March 14th, was the first day we went on the air. So we are going to have a good time at Sparks, and we'll cook, play some games, hopefully have that Tacoma out there. And remember, they got a putting green, so we can have a putting contest.
Oh, boy.
No, we ended up doing a casting contest.
I ended up cooking hamburgers
but
the whole time.
I think we did a casting contest.
Yep.
Into a bucket and into the hole. I think we did games where you tried to cast into the hole. So we'll have a good time over there, and hopefully the entire crew will be able to come join us. It's been a great time. Don, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
We're going to go celebrate Mr. Eddie Williams' birthday today out at Lawshee. Happy number 3.
Wow. Growing like a weed, man.
Yep, the future fishing phenom, Eddie, and we'll head out there. Y'all, Pond Road Storage, incredible storage. If you're looking for anywhere safe, secure, to put your products, to put your service, you can do anything out of here. You can't have walk-up businesses here. But anything, if you're
a trade guy, you need to get one of these buildings.
It's a great spot. We are, again, in a non-climate controlled, right across the road from us, are climate controlled, just really nice. We've got outside storage. We got everything you need here. Elvis Services, has done it right. Pond Road Storage. Give Chris a call. All that numbers are on our social media. I don't have it in front of me. That's why I'm doing that. That's pretty smart. By the way, my Pond Road banner is still hanging at Sarah J's from the banquet behind the bar. I bet they don't even know that. So we got to go get that down. Anyway, on behalf of Don Kayak Nesmith, on behalf of Tony the Bassmaster Carter. Super Jenna back there in the studio. Jenna, we ready?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, all right, I'm Captain E. This has been the Southern English Radio Show on the Gator 107.9.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.